Hi guys, how are you doing? Here we'll discuss about a very hot topic, that is microservice, and we'll understand implementation of projects by using this architecture. So before moving ahead, let's understand few points. That is, nowadays microservice is very hot topic, and if you'll go in 10 interviews, so mostly in all interviews you'll find questions uh, that belongs to microservices, because nowadays all application is going to build on top of this. So let's understand why this is happening and what is the advantage we have with microservices. So before moving ahead, let's go through the agenda for this upcoming few sessions. So the very first thing is we'll understand what is the monolithic architecture and what is the problem with this, and then we'll understand microservice architecture, and we'll try to find out that what are the advantages we are able to use in microservice architecture. Along with that, we'll go through Zool API Gateway, which will give several features to implement microservices and their communication. For their communication, we'll use Fiend client, and also we'll develop sample project as well. So let's get started. So for the demonstration purpose, I'll use a normal sample application that I have given a name as e-commerce application. So monolithic itself explains the its meaning, that is mono in the sense there will be only one application, irrespective of how big it is. Either there is a one or two module or two components or 20 or 30 components, still it will be only one application. So we are considering that this application is running on port 8001, and it has a few modules, or we can say components, those are listed here. So this application having these modules, and client is interacting with this application, and by using the such URLs which you are able to see here. So the thing is, why we are not nowadays, why projects are not going to build on top of monolithic architecture, why industry is moving towards microservices. So let's understand what are the problem with monolithic architecture. So we'll see one by one. So the very first problem is tight coupling between the components. So here all components are built in a single application, and they are not exist individually. So suppose we have developed our products module or component in a very efficient manner, and it has very awesome features. So if we'll try to use this component outside this application, only this particular component, not others. So in that case, we are not able to use, because this is tightly coupled with this application, and only the internal component of this application will be able to use this. So next point is less reusability. So as we have seen, components are mess up with each other. So suppose as I explained earlier that I want to use this product somewhere else, and though it is built in the same application, so we can't able to use outside this application. And next point is large code base. So as much as we increase our applications, so in that case there will be huge amount of code. So suppose if any new developer will comes to the project, and he will try to understand that how it is implemented, what is the features, what are the functionality, and what is the business of this application. So though application is very huge, so in that case for him it is very tough to understand. And for QA people also, there will be a lot of problem to understand this project for testing purpose. Scalability. So though we have only one application, if we are trying to scale, we are trying to enhance features, so day by day it, it, it will start growing. So once it will start growing, in that case there will be a lot of problem to enhance the features in monolithic application, because creating additional features deploying along with a plugin with the existing application, testing all these. It will be very clumsy. And we'll see, next is maintainability. Suppose we have developed our application and we deploy it uh, on server. It is in production. So if there is any issue in a small in there is a small issue in any component, so in that case for the support people it would be very hard to identify that where it is, where the issue is occurring. Debugging all the codes is it's very challenging. So maintaining the whole application is very tough for them. And even though if we are doing changes in one module, that is not going to be affected in other module as well, but we have to deploy our complete application again, and our complete application will go shut down, and then we have to rebuild and redeploy complete application. So that's why restart time will be for all application, it will be more. And the next, last but not least, is if any component is got failed or down due to some issues, in that case the whole application will cause of down. Let's understand with a few graphics. So here we assume that support module or component is got down, it having some errors, so it got failed. So in that case, due to this support module, the whole application is will be fail, and the client will not able to access any of services of this application, even though there is no issue with users, customer, products, cards and warehouse, but still you won't be able to do anything. Complete shutdown. So this is the big problem which is there with monolithic. So now let's understand what is the problem, whatever we have seen in monolithic architecture. So how microservices is overcoming all these problems. So here you are able to see that whatever modules we have in monolithic, so microservices says that whatever application you are going to build, if it is at large scale and it having scope for scalability, so in that case, instead of developing a single application, try to break down in piece by piece based on its feature, its functionality and its business. If you are able to break down in piece by piece, so each piece or component will be treated as an individual application. So as we can see here, we have break every module in an application, and each application is running on corresponding port as we can see on the screen. So now in microservice environment, how will we using all this component. So this all component will be registered naming server or Eureka server, or we can say cloud server as well. So all these will be registered with Eureka server. So Eureka server has all the information that what are microservices has been deployed for for this particular application. It has all the information, so that whenever client will try to access any of microservice, so he will first go through the Eureka server. There he will find where this particular module or application is deployed, what are the URLs. It will pick URL from there, and then it will try to access applications accordingly. So now we'll compare the issues which we have in monolithic and what able to achieve here in microservices. So as we can see, components are loosely coupled. So here all components are individual application. So if you want to use, if you can think about products, it is very good application, and we want not to use in this application, but we want to use somewhere else as well, so we are free to use, because it is not binded directly with this application, we can use somewhere else as well. And the next one is components are usable, it is not bind with the tightly bind with application. So as I told, it can be used for other applications and anywhere else as well. And though application is divided in module by module, so here we can easily understand the code and business as well. If you see this particular application, then we can easily understood that in user sections all user information will be stored, and in products only product information will be stored. So going through this architecture, understanding individual module would be very easy, and easily we can understand the business behind the application. And scalability, so as application will grow, so in that case we can start plugging to the respective service, enhancing the features, and if needed, then we can add one more microservices as well. So it has great scope for scalability. And for the maintainability is that if there is any issue is in a particular module, so directly we can go in that, and we can do the respective changes, so that we need not to think, we need not to look in other module, so that we can focus on individual module and we can go there and we can easily do the changes respectively. Next one is smaller and faster deployments. So let's think about there is a few changes in cart module. So in that case, if I did any changes here, so I have to redeploy this cart application only, not all. So whatever changes we did, we'll just deploy this application only, so that deploying of a small application would be faster. And the next one is, if any of component got failed, so in that case it won't cause to failure of whole the application. As you can see here, suppose our support module is failed due to some reason, maybe some error or some breakdown will happen in this module, so it got failed. So in that case, user won't be able to access this application only, but apart from that, whatever other modules is there, he can happily able to access. This is not going to cause to shut down for all the applications. So happily we can continue with user service, customer service, products. We can able to see products, and we can manage warehouses and cart as well. So we have solved a lot of problem with was having with monolithic architecture by using microservice architecture. But anyhow, unwillingly, we have created some more challenges, some more issue, some new issue in our application. And let's understand what are those. So suppose here I have listed 6 microservices, but in case in real time there won't be only 6, or it may be more than that, 20 to 30 microservices can be there. So in that case, the all applications port number, the location, the client should know, then only it can be able to access all the application. So it has to pick all the applications location from the Eureka server, and then it can start communicating with them. So to managing all these applications location at a client is quite challenging. So to resolve this problem, we are going to introduce API gateway, and in API gateway we are using Zool. So here Zool comes into the picture. So you will understand how Zool resolves the problem. So suppose this background white color rectangle you are able to see, so that is cloud environment, nothing but Eureka server. So what are the application is there that is deployed in cloud environment, so all is registered with Eureka server. And Zool application is also an microservices we can say, and this is also deployed in the same environment. And one more thing, that is all the application and their respective path will be registered in Zool API gateway, so that whenever client will try to use any of microservices, he need not to go to individual microservices to access them and utilize their features, but he will just only communicate with Zool API gateway and pass their request. Zool API will decide that which microservices it has to communicate based on the URL as a client will pass. So here we resolve the issue which we was have earlier, that is client has to remember the every server's location. That is not going to be a good thing for the client. So Zool is resolving this problem. So guys, these are the introduction about this microservice and Zool architecture. In the next video we'll see implementation of all these. So do subscribe this channel so that you won't miss any update. Thank you. Have a good day. Bye bye.